Ravens flock, what is up? This is Weebly Purple Podcast. Matt Trigger, Daniel Wilcox coming to you live on the heels of the Ravens roster cutdown day. The preseason is pretty much officially over, Wilcox, and the Ravens set their 53-man roster this afternoon by 4 o'clock. Most of the releases have trickled out. Only big surprise I thought was the release of Jalen Armour Davis outright. He's going to hit the waiver wire.
Yeah.
Any surprise cuts for you so far?
No, I mean, I got the exact same one you got, Matt. I wasn't expecting number 5 to get cut off this team. I thought he played well for us last year when we needed him. And I just thought he's becoming a permanent fixture here in the city of Baltimore. When you start to look at these roster cuts, guys become bubble guys. I think I expressed this to you one time, maybe a couple of times before, Matt, that the way we look at roster cuts is different when you're in the front office. You look at who's the most important guy on the roster to the least most important guy on the roster. And if you're that bubble guy, you got to be within, let's say, 40 to 60 range. All those guys are bubble guys on the roster. So once I start getting saying who's the most important guy, the second most, the third most, the fourth most, all the way down, once I get to that 40 range, all those guys are expendable. So I guess Jalen Armour Davis kind of fell into that range, and unfortunately the kid's out of here. I hope he lands really fast. I think he will. He's a phenomenal athlete, played well for us, and he's another Baltimore Raven caliber player that I think somebody will snag up super quick.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. Hopefully, if he doesn't get claimed, I think he's a good candidate for the practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised that I know you and I talked a little bit about this on our last show. We talked a little bit about it off, in pre-show, off camera. Rasheen Ali makes the 53.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think the Ravens were going to go and carry four running backs.
Yeah.
And for anybody out there wondering that watches our show, Keaton Mitchell made the team, obviously. He's okay. He's not expected to undergo any type of, PUP or IR placement. Talked to his dad. He said everything's good to go. Keaton's healthy and he's ready for another great year.
Yeah.
So 4 running backs. So we had to kind of lighten the load somewhere else, and I noticed that they are carrying 6 wide receivers. They still got Likely on the active 53-man roster. I don't think they're going to IR him until the next couple of days, but it was surprising to me because I didn't think I guess you and I watched Ali through a different lens, Wilcox. I didn't think that he was going to make the team, and you did.
Yeah, well, I think early on he looked really bad. That first game he didn't play well at all, and I thought it was like the moment was a little bit too big for him. And that happens sometimes, man. You get into these games and you want to make a great impression, and you make a couple of bad decisions cut wise, and this stuff happens so fast. It's all reaction. It's not a muscle memory thing. It's just more of a reaction thing. And when things happen too fast, sometimes the moment feel like it's too big for a kid. And that's what I saw in week 1. Week 2, I thought he looked a little bit more comfortable. Even towards the end of week 1, that game, I felt like towards the fourth quarter he got a little better. Had a big run or two in that game, and then that second game he played a little bit better. And then this last game he really truly showed up. But I felt like all the running backs did. So when I look at him on film and I see him running the game versus the other guys, I could see the explosiveness. I could see the twitchiness. I could see the change of direction. I could see not a lot of breakaway speed, but I can see some breakaway speed from him. He's pretty quick from 0 to 15 yards.
Yeah, you're right. He doesn't show a whole lot of breakaway speed, but I know that he's a valuable player in terms of playing special teams, and you know better than anybody else. Harbaugh is a big proponent of special teams.
Yeah,
he was a former special teams coordinator, and Ali plays all 4 phases.
He does
of special teams,
which is important.
He's invaluable to us in that manner. But looking at this offense, and you see all the talent, it's clear Ali's not going to be in the running back rotation when you got those 3 guys ahead of him. Keaton's far and away a better running back, and Justice Hill is and there's no question. Derrick Henry's probably a top 2 running back in the NFL.
Correct.
There's a debate, nationwide between him and Saquon, but I was just a little taken aback by it. I'm not. I hate to see anybody lose their job and get cut.
Right.
I don't want to see anybody. It's got to be tough. Like you talked about it on the show plenty of times, though, Wilcox, over the last year plus we've been on the air together. Um, you've seen the Turk come looking for you, and you've been the Turk, so
Yeah.
you know both sides of that fence.
Matt,
And
keep the Turk part. Keep that on the low.
but you've told the story, so yeah,
Yeah.
I digress. But
Yeah.
just kind of give everybody a little bit of a inside look, as a retired player. What
Hmm.
was it like around cut day? Like, what's the atmosphere when you're going to work? Because the games are over. Now it's just a waiting game, especially if you're not, like you said, in that top 40 of the roster where the pecking order changes and everybody can become expendable. What's it like? Because you've been in both situations where you didn't know if you were going to make the team, and then it seemed like for your entire 5 year stint here in Baltimore, you were after that first year you were in that top 40, so to speak.
Well, Matt, anybody can get it. So it's one of those things where everybody's nervous, everybody kind of biting their nails. Some people that think they're making the team hands down, they end up getting cut. So it's one of those things where there's a stillness in the air, there's a quietness in the air, and there's a nervousness in the air from almost every single player on the roster. I mean, your core guys are your core guys, but outside of those core guys, you have to be worried, what the decision is going to be, and you have to worry if you're going to get that on your door. And when you get that knock on your door, hell, you pray to God he ain't telling you to grab your playbook. Coach want to see you, So it's not a very comfortable feeling. It makes you very uneasy. And, some guys handle nerves differently. Some guys end up being on the toilet all day long, worried, sick. Some guys are biting their nails. Some guys are on the phone talking to their parents and their girlfriends or their boys or whoever they need to talk to in order to calm their nerves and praying that they can make it. And then some guys on the phone with the church, the whole church is praying for them. Man, I pray to God as it works out for you and, the situation turns out the best way you want it to. But unfortunately, for some guys, this may be their last hurrah when they get cut. And then some other guys, they may actually get a shot if they play well enough during preseason. And you watch it week in and week out. The way this team in Baltimore has played collectively during this preseason, I almost want to say almost 90% of these kids are going to get another shot.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
Jalen R. Davis, like we just talked about at the beginning of the show, he might not make it through waivers. Somebody might take a chance
Yeah.
on him, and it's really, really weird to see. I know in the next 24 hours they're going to have to set the practice squad.
Correct.
They cut CJ Okoye. They waived obviously Jalen Armour Davis and Devin Leary, the third string quarterback. They're going into the season with just two. I kind of wonder if they're going to pick up a third QB, if it's going to be Huntley or somebody like that, because I don't think Leary is going to get that emergency quarterback slot.
Yeah.
When it comes to the practice squad, this is ever since COVID happened, they changed the rules and then they kind of did a little bit of a forward thinking. Do you think it's fair they let veterans on the practice squad now and not just the guys that have under 3 years of NFL experience? Is it a double-edged sword?
It's interesting. Like the practice squad thing has always been kind of a weird situation for me. It was a point in time in my life as a rookie that I would have taken anything, to be on the practice squad, to be on the team, just as long as I'm here, as long as I'm a part of the organization. And then when you get there, you realize that's not where you really want to be. So it's not like a glorified position, to be on the practice squad. It's like being on a JV team instead of playing varsity, Yeah, you like to play the JV games, but you much rather be in those Friday Night Lights varsity games, and so when you don't get a chance to dress out for games, some teams don't even let you travel with the team, so you don't really truly feel like you're a part of the team when you don't travel to away games. At least let me be a part of the atmosphere and the experience so I can see what it feels like. So when I get a chance to play, then I know exactly what it feels like to be there, or I'm not unfamiliar to that space, So the veterans, by them having the veterans on the practice squad, I kind of actually like that because they've never had a practice squad year before. They get a chance to get extended, and I think the older we get, the more expensive we become because you get a pay raise every year in this league. You need something to be able to kind of float you sometimes due to injuries, due to body being beat up and banged up and needing rest. So that 1 year or 2 years that you may get back later in your career to be on the practice squad may actually benefit you greatly. And I think those teams can hold players and keep players a little longer that they normally would have wanted to hold on to, but they couldn't afford to. So I think it's a good thing. At the same time, it still feels it feels kind of weird. So it's something I could really truly appreciate, and I really hope that the Ravens able to get the guys that they want, because I think a lot of the guys they think they're going to be able to sign to the practice squad are going to get snatched up. And what happens is once you get cut in this league, and I hope people understand the way this process works. This process works like they have to actually cut you, and you have to have a 24-hour period that you have to stay uncut. During that 24-hour period, if nobody claims you off waivers, then you can get re-signed to the practice squad. But if another team calls you and say, "Hey, man, we want to sign you," are you willing to leave Baltimore Ravens? The player has the ability to say yes or no. Nah, I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna take the practice squad slot, or I'm gonna go to your team and be on the active roster. And usually that's what the attractive part is. I take a huge pay cut to be on the practice squad, but to be on the active roster, I get a huge pay increase. So most guys would much rather want to have an opportunity to play this game than to watch this game. So to be on the practice squad, yeah, you're a part of the team. Yeah, you get to wear the uniform. Yeah, you practice every day. Yeah, it's a pretty cool experience, but you don't get the notoriety or the glory that you get when you're on the actual 53-man roster. People treat you a little differently when you dress out and you go out there and play on Sundays versus when you're the guy that's just practicing with them.
Yeah, I can imagine. I one of the guys that they cut today is one of my favorite Ravens. You know him. I talk about him a lot. They let Brent Urban go, but it's kind of one of those situations where they're going to do the same thing that they did the last 2 years, where they
Mhm.
bring him back after they get the IR situation figured out. Then he'll be back on the 53 man, or he'll be one of the vet practice squad members. Um, they're rocking with Broderick Washington, Travis Jones, Namdi Matabike on that interior. So hopefully Brent will be back. Um, when we talk about the defense, Ruben Lowry and Martin both made the team. Undrafted rookies, and then Jay Higgins at inside linebacker. They kept 5 inside linebackers on this team this year,
Wow.
at least to start the season. So they got Roquan, they got Trenton Simpson, Jake Hummel, Teddy Buchanan, and Jay Higgins. That's a pretty solid squad, and the fact that Higgins made the roster, I'm happy that he was never going to clear waivers. Somebody was going to pick him up.
Yeah.
He was just too good of a player that you couldn't let him hit the waiver wire, because his phone would have rang at 4:05. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
um, they're keeping from what I saw, they're keeping Sanusi Kane. They're keeping, of course, Hamilton and Starks, and they're keeping Lowry at the safety position. I, how do you think it's going to shake out, though? Do you see Lowry jumping Kane in the pecking order, or do you think that they're just going to have to kind of go with the flow rotation wise?
I mean, anything's possible. Anything can happen. It's about who prepares the best and who really wants to be the pro. But from what I saw, it looked like Kane would probably be the number one guy in between those two. I don't see Lowry jumping them right away. I think Kane would definitely find a way to continue to hold his stance. The more you're around these veteran players, if you're smart enough, you pay attention to what they do and how they move. You're able to pick up little things to prepare better, to get your body ready and keep your body healthy. And then you'll come there earlier in the morning. You'll leave there later in the afternoon. Everybody's watching you. So it's really important for these young guys to
Yeah.
really understand that people are going to be having their eyes on them. They're going to be watching them, and they're going to be expecting them to become a pro really, really, really fast. So I look forward to kind of see how this thing kind of pans out as the year go on. Even when we were talking about the running back room, right? You keep Ali, and then you think about Keaton Mitchell, Justice Hill, Derrick Henry. At any moment, that room could change with one injury. One single play, and the whole room changes. A practice play, a game play, and that
That's
whole
true.
room changes. Now, all of a sudden, if Derrick Henry goes down, then your starting running back is Justice Hill. Then you got Keaton Mitchell. Then you got Ali. So now you got Ali as your third guy. If one of those other guys go down, I guarantee you're going to be shopping to bring in another back to replace those two
Oh,
great backs you just lost.
yeah, you're gonna have to.
Right.
It's crazy how many undrafted free agents this team finds. It seems like on a year in and year out basis, at least one makes a team. And this year, 3 first-year undrafted free agents and 1 second-year undrafted free agent all made the team. The Ravens kept a backup center from Maryland, and they let their practice squad or their 6th or 7th round draft pick, Nick Samick. He got cut, so they're staying young on the offensive line. You good over there?
Yeah, my bad.
I was just making sure you're good.
My bad.
No iPhone jokes this time.
Nah, none. I dropped the one of the things the Ravens sent me. They sent me this flag with our information and stuff on. It's pretty cool. It just fell off the side of my desk just now. That's all. No biggie.
Speaking of things the Ravens send the retired players, the lanyard and the whistle for all the players that are coaches was really cool.
Yeah,
I know BMAC was really happy to receive it, and so was Zibikowski. Zibikowski posted something online about that as well.
Yeah, I was mad I didn't get mine, man. I think they called me and asked me was I still coaching.
You're not a coach.
I'm not coaching anymore, but I still want one.
Look, man, you get multiple boxes of swag from these people
I want my whistle, Matt.
Every single year, and you're mad about a whistle?
Yeah, man. I'm not a whistleblower, but I like whistles.
It's real crazy. And they're going back. And if you notice, man, I don't know if you noticed in a lot of their social media, something must have happened with the old helmet trademark because they're posting it online. It's on Madden this year, and they're putting the old logo on the coaching lanyards with the B inside the shield with the wings. Are you a fan of that logo or no?
Nah, it's too busy.
Oh man, I know Ray and all them would be mad to hear that. That was the OG jersey right there with the big old burger on the side of the.
Yeah, that's the throwback jersey. That's what you wear for the throwback games. So maybe they're gonna do a throwback uniform this year.
Yeah, they haven't announced it yet, but I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of throwback, especially with the helmets. But it's cool that they sent those care packages out. They treat you guys very well. They're a very classy organization when it comes to the guys that have played for them before.
I love the Ravens, man. I love them. I appreciate it.
Speaking of Ravens swag, you have a very, very nice hat. You have a different one. You have a different one on every single episode. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you, Matt.
That's a nice one. That's a real.
Thank you very much. It's the Crucial Catch hat
for this year, right?
It was last year's.
Okay, Catch, so you haven't gotten your care package for this year yet. I'm sorry.
No, they haven't sent out anything yet.
Yeah,
they sent out the whistles for the guys. That was about it.
Yeah. Getting back to the roster. I know a lot of the stuff was given. You kind of knew who they were going to have on the in the wide receiver room. That wasn't really a competition. I didn't see any of the undrafted guys or any of the backup guys making this team. The six was pretty much set from the first preseason game after LaJohntay Wester had the punt return.
Yep,
you knew he was. You knew he was going to make the team, and then Tylan Wallace is invaluable to this team. He was making it. Dude. Yeah, Tylan's such a good ball player, man. And then of course D Hop and Zay and Rashad Bateman, they made it. That was like one of the only positions I really didn't see that in tight end. I mean, unless they IR Likely, they're being real quiet about Likely's injury. They haven't really said a whole lot in the local media about his foot injury. So hopefully he's a little bit closer to, returning to the field than we hope, because he's not going to be in Buffalo next week.
Yeah, he shouldn't be. I mean, he had surgery on his foot, so to have that foot injury like that, they break your foot, man, it definitely takes some time to heal. I would hope they would give him the dedicated time needed to heal it completely before they try to rush him back out there. He's a vital part of this offense, and he's become such a household name that people, they like the guy. They like the kid. Everybody really like him. So his name kind of rings through the city of Baltimore as one of the superstars that they have there. and he's earned it. He's right. It's rightfully so. I love the way the kid plays the game, and he deserved to be out there. I'm looking forward to his speedy return back to the field. At the same time, I want him to be smart, and I want the Ravens to be smart with him the same way they were with Keaton Mitchell, and take their time to get the kid back out there. I think they learned their lesson from J.K. Dobbins, injuries and all the stuff that he had early on, Gus Edwards and those guys. So I think they have kind of turned the corner on how they prepare their guys to get back. And they're so deep on the depth chart usually anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really that big of a deal. You still got Charlie Kohler, you still got Patrick Ricard, you still got the superstar Mark Andrews. So I'm good with that.
You had to throw superstar out there, didn't you?
You damn right I did. It's time for people to remember who that guy is.
You know what? The sting is always going to be there because I'm still pissed off at Lee Evans 13 years later, 14 years later.
I'm only mad at him because he had on number 83 jersey.
That's the only reason you're mad at him, not because he dropped a touchdown pass in the corner of the end zone.
I wouldn't care that much if he didn't have on 83. He had on 83. That kind of really upsets me because people thought that was me.
What?
That was still fresh off my retirement.
You're right. It was a year after you retired.
Yeah, people really was calling me like, bro, did you really drop that? Dude, his last name is Evans, bro. I mean, damn, like I'm at home.
That's profiling.
Right. Every black man looking like, right, man? Yeah.
Hey, I didn't say it.
I know, but you work at the jail, so I know you said it.
Oh, ouch. Ouch. Oh my. I'm moving on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, that's right. That's the best thing for you.
Yeah, I'm not getting into that with you. I'm not getting into that with you. Not tonight, not ever. But now that the roster's set and they're gonna do the practice squad tomorrow, obviously, and that thing is such a constant rotation of players getting claimed and getting cut and players getting added. Now that the 53 man is essentially set, let's talk a little bit about what the expectation is. We got a really tough first month of the season coming up, Wilcox, and
correct.
we got some heavy hitters the first 2 weeks. We got Buffalo on Sunday night, and then we got Cleveland. Joe Flacco's return home. This is his first game in Ravens Stadium as a starting quarterback as the away
That's crazy
QB, which is insane. We have the Detroit Lions in that first stretch, and I believe we have Kansas City. That's a little bit of a tough first stretch.
It's tough. Yeah, it
is
extremely tough.
And we're going to play majority of those games without Isaiah Likely. Kind of give our audience a little bit of a look into what now that once you make the team and the roster's set, does the focus intensify, and is there like a huge shift in the day-to-day approach at work?
Absolutely. I mean, now you're refining everything. Now you know who's going to be on the team. Now you know who you got the game plan with, not for, but with. You know which players you got to actually use to game plan for to beat the other team. And you have to start to identify exactly what type of team you're going to be, what your offense is going to look like, what your defense is going to look like, what your special teams is going to look like. What returns suit LeJontay Wester better on kickoff return and punt return. Keaton Mitchell back deep on kickoff return. What's his best returns? You have to figure all those things out, and then you have to figure out what your guys can do up front to block for them, and who's the best blockers, and who's going to help the team, who's not, who we need to move up from practice squad, who we need to put down on practice squad. It's a lot of movement, man. And you think you're going to get guys, and then the guys that you think you're going to get end up being snatched up by somebody else, or you get them on the practice squad, and before week 2 comes, they're gone already because another team snatched them because they had somebody go down. Then you got to be prepared for injuries, because injuries kind of throw a wrench in your plan at all times. You could plan for the best, and then you end up getting the worst. So there's a lot that goes into it, but your shift in your energy, focus, and stuff has to shift on the actual season, because now it's here. And the coaches stand up in front of the entire team. All right, guys, look to your left, look to your right. There's your new team. Everybody else that was here,
right.
They're no longer here. You guys are here and been chosen for a reason. Each one of you guys got a role to do. It's going to be up to you guys whether or not you're going to do the role that we think you can. But you have to put the work in as a player in the weight room, the energy and effort it takes to get to work on time every single morning, not be late for anything, and be a pro. You really have to be a pro. Doctors don't wait until it's time for surgery to pull up late at in the parking garage and then go upstairs and have to get in they dressed in scrubs and wash
Right.
their hand and be late for surgery. So as a football player, you have to be a professional. You have to get up early, be to work early, get there on time and early, and go get everything done that you got to get done before team meetings that morning, and be prepared with your pen and pad to take notes, and anything else, your playbook that you need to look through and all that stuff. You got to have all that stuff right there in front of you, man, because it's important. It's super, super, super important in this league. The day that you don't prepare like you're a starter, and you try to relax because you're a backup guy or you're a second string, third string, or a practice squad guy, and you're not preparing like you want to win, and you're not preparing like you were the starter, then when your numbers call, you will never be ready. You can't get prepared in a week for something that guys have been preparing for all year long. So you have to prepare every single day like you're the starting tight end, the starting running back, the starting D lineman, starting linebacker, nose guard, DF, defensive end, outside backer, corner, safety, whatever position may be. You have to prepare like you're that guy, and you're the guy that's going to be starting and taking every single snap week in and
Right.
week out.
Yeah, that I can imagine that it intensifies a great deal because you've experienced it not only as a player but in the personnel department. I'm sure even after the final roster cut downs and the 53 man is set and the practice squad is set, I'm sure your work is just as intense
Yeah,
being in the front office as well, especially working under Eric DaCosta. That's high expectations. So
it
I
is.
wanted to kind of ask you about some guys around the league that received their pink slips today. Well, first of all, Shiloh Sanders got cut by the Bucks after he got into the fight during the game. They didn't even wait
Yeah, that's
till
crazy.
cut day. He got the axe. I think not long after the game ended. I think it was the next morning. Honestly, um, Tony Jefferson, former Raven, Jim Harbaugh cut him from the Los Angeles Chargers today,
Hmm.
and Chuck Clark got cut by the Steelers.
Dang, Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck was cut. Adam or not Adam Hunter Renfro, the wide receiver, he was cut by Carolina.
Really? I thought they were saying Renfro was still really good.
Yeah, they cut him. They said he had a hamstring issue, and they might try to bring him back
Yeah,
after everything's settled down. But
could it be an
he
injury settlement? Hopefully.
yeah, the Commanders released Sam Hartman, who played most of the game against us this past Saturday. We didn't really even talk about the game. That was a blowout. There wasn't really much to cover. It wasn't. We kicked their asses pretty good.
Yeah,
It was 30-3 by the fourth quarter.
yeah, I
But
liked it.
yeah, I did too. It was very nice. I'm hoping for a lot of these non-stress inducing games because the Ravens are gonna determine my mood for the next 5 months.
hundred
Every
percent.
every single Monday and Tuesday. Um, Before we go, Daniel, I know that we just covered the roster and everything. We talked about all
Hmm.
the rookie, undrafted guys that made it.
Correct.
This weekend, you're going to be at the Maryland State Fair in the Maryland Lottery Building
Hmm.
from 12 to 1, signing autographs and taking pictures. You'll be there with Evan Oglesby from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. This coming Saturday, August 30th. Wanted to give you a special plug. So if anybody's watching the show or they're listening,
Come on out. Let's go
Wil-
do it, baby.
Wilcox and Oglesby will be out there signing autographs and taking pictures with the fans. It's the last weekend of the second to last weekend of the state fair, so it should be nice and crowded out there. So go see some uh, some great players, Daniel. I know you love meeting with the fans. I know you love hanging out. So
Hmm. I do.
that's one of your favorite things to do, and we certainly appreciate all the appearances you've made over the years because you were very present in your time here. Even after you were done playing, you were still on TV and on the radio, and of course now you're doing this. But yeah, 12 to 1 Saturday, guys. Wilcox, let everybody know where they can find you before we wrap the show.
Always on Twitter at Coach Wilcox, and on IG at Daniel.Wilcox on Instagram. Always available, always there to reach out. I have guys reach out to me all the time, guys and girls, about appearances and talking to kids and stuff like that. So feel free, man, anytime. Love to have you guys, join and like, like, subscribe on our YouTube channel. the Believe in the Ravens podcast. I mean, I'm sorry,
That's the old one.
my bad. I'm sorry. We Bleed Purple podcast. I
There we go.
apologize.
You're
Yeah,
good. You're good.
yeah, we bleed purple all day. So you get a chance to go on our YouTube channel to we bleed purple. We would love to have you guys there because we both bleed purple right here, Matt and Wilcox. We do a great job with this show, and we're gonna continue to push the show out week in and week out, and hopefully it'll continue to get better and grow.
Yes, and we will be on your screens twice a week starting next week. We will have our Buffalo Bills preview show. You never know who's going to slide through. We're going to have some surprise guests all year long. So everybody just stay tuned for all that. We are out. We'll see you guys next week for the Buffalo Bills preview show. We will be advertising date and time. That is a wrap.
Yeah,